What do sheep, mysteries, and $1 million secret have in common? The sheep detectives, that's what. Tell me why I'm obsessed already. Hey, it's Emma here, feeling absolutely curious today. Like nose pressed to the window pane curious. So, let's talk. The Sheep Detectives is this 2026 mystery comedy that is such a total vibe. It drops you in an English village where a flock of sheep decides to solve their shepherd's murder. Kyle Balda is the director here, the steady hand behind the cozy chaos. Craig Mazin wrote the screenplay. He fell in love with the source novel. And that source is 3 Bags Full by Leonie Swan, the book that first asked, what if animals took over the whodunit? Cute premise, right? But it's also deeper than you expect. Let me set the scene. I once pulled a very me move at my neighborhood library. I opened this creaky old mystery hardback. Tucked inside was a tiny note that read, "Under the cloud, not the tree." I know, cryptic as hell. Obviously, I go full detective. I'm like, this is fate. This is my kismet moment. I start checking the landscaping out front. I interrogate the help desk, nicely. I map shadow patterns like a dork. Big yikes. Every clue misleads me. I find a painted mural of a sheep. I'm like, cloud, wool, same vibe. No, but that was a children's reading corner theme. Then I spot a ceiling stain that looks like a rain cloud, so naturally, I bring a friend. We stare up forever, and a toddler throws me a goldfish cracker, like, "Ma'am, please." Hours later, the librarian, who is the saint of patience, goes, "Honey, that note is a shelving hint. Our volunteer meant the returns cart under the Cloud Atlas display, not the oak table." Epic fail. But here's the lesson I keep. Perspective is everything. I read that note like a dramatic heroine. The librarian read it like Tuesday. And that's why the Sheep Detectives works. The flock looks at humans from the outside and sees motives we miss. Curiosity can be messy, but it gets you somewhere real. Okay, let's move on. The basics. The plot is a cozy whodunit in Denbrook. The shepherd, George Hardy, turns up dead, and his sheep do not wait for the police. The flock are the investigators, and the tone is whimsical but, sneakily philosophical. Think live-action village vibes with CGI animals that actually emote. It's not cartoonish. The animals look real, but their eyes and timing sell the jokes and the feelings. You get the fun caper beats and these little gut punches about grief and memory. Our lead sheep are a whole mood. Lily is the sharp Shetland ewe, voiced by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, the comic icon who gives Lily her bite and her heart. Mopple is a merino ram who never forgets, voiced by Chris O'Dowd, the lovable memory palace on hooves. Sebastian is a black Castlemilk Morit ram with a rough past, voiced by Bryan Cranston, and he brings big gravitas. The flock have beliefs that are adorable and devastating. They think death is only in stories, and that when sheep die, they become clouds. They can even will themselves to forget things that hurt, which is cute until it gets in the way of truth. Important people check. Craig Mazin spent nearly a decade wrangling the rights after his first draft. Imagine writing your dream adaptation and then living in email purgatory for years. He described being enchanted by the book's intelligence, and you feel that patience on screen. Kyle Balda directs with that cozy clarity, like he knows when to let the sheep run the show, literally. On the human side, Hugh Jackman is George Hardy, and he gives the early scenes warmth that sets everything up. Emma Thompson is Lydia Harbottle, the solicitor with razor wit. Nicholas Braun is Tim Derry, the earnest, kind of bumbling policeman in town. Nicholas Galitzine is Elliot Matthews, the pushy reporter who keeps pressure on the case. Remember that name, messy twist. Voice cast is stacked. Julia Louis-Dreyfus as Lily, Bryan Cranston as Sebastian, Chris O'Dowd as Mopple, plus Regina Hall as Cloud, Patrick Stewart as Sir Richfield, the elder state sheep, and Bella Ramsey as Zora, the high-energy lamb. Critics from places like The Atlantic and Variety kept saying the sheep sequences absolutely sing. Digital Spy felt some human stars were underused. And honestly, I agree the animals stole it, and I'm not sorry. If you cast voices like that and give them interior lives, let them slay. Now, the mystery mechanics, because the receipts matter. George is found with one palm blue and the other green. Orf, by the way, is a contagious skin thing in sheep. George invented a blue-colored Orf medicine and quietly got rich off the patent. Surprise number 1. Our humble shepherd is actually a millionaire. That blue mixes with blonde hair dye to make green, so the green stain becomes the tell. Tim, our bumbling but earnest cop, clocks it. Elliot the reporter is not Elliot at all. He is Peter Van Vuren, George's son in disguise, with dyed hair to sell a fake identity. He murders George, forges a will, and frames Rebecca, George's daughter who had just reconnected with him. It's classic, cozy logic, just painted in farm colors. Let's dissect this for a sec. Stakes are not just the money, though there is a lot. An older will had 30 million earmarked for the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, but the updated will leaves the fortune to Rebecca. That is dynamite in a small village. The frame job plants Rebecca's bangle in the meadow, and even berry residue, used as poison, in her boot soles. Meanwhile, a darker subplot has neighboring shepherd Caleb Marrow teaming with butcher Ham Gilliard to slaughter sheep on the sly, so the flock faces human danger while chasing human lies. That's where Sebastian's arc hits. He fights off Caleb's German shepherds to save Lily and Mopple, and dies from a neck bite. It's tough, but handled with care. Lily's whole denial system cracks. She has to stop willing memories away and actually face the grief. Big cry, but also big growth. Communication between species is clever too. The winter lamb, who is ostracized for being born out of season, sneaks into jail and paints a hoofprint message to humans. It bridges the gap without breaking reality. No talking to people, just messy paint and smart ciphers. And when Peter tries to bolt, twin rams Reggie and Ronnie, voiced by Brett Goldstein, literally ram his car and stop him. Crowd pleaser, 0 notes. Okay, pause, because here is the big debate. Do the sheep overshadow the humans? Variety and The Atlantic say yes, and they loved it. Digital Spy says the human cast is underused. I land with the sheep. The emotional core is their selective forgetting. Mopple cannot forget anything, which sounds like a curse but becomes the gift that keeps the truth intact. Lily learns to remember, even when it hurts. That hit me harder than any human subplot could, because grief from a non-human lens dodges our ego. It is pure and weirdly honest. Call it Babe energy meets Murder, She Wrote vibes. The sleuth is a you who reads murder mysteries and refuses to stay in her lane. Yas, queen. Zooming out to the industry tea. The studio shuffled dates a few times to find the family's sweet spot. They pivoted into May to avoid a competing animated spotlight and caught Mother's Day and Memorial Day legs. Distribution-wise, Amazon MGM Studios handled the US, with Sony Pictures releasing international elsewhere. And then it hit Amazon Prime Video in late June. Audience polling was strong. An A- cinema score, which is that exit poll letter grade from moviegoers, and about 75% definite recommend on PostTrack, another audience tracker. Total box office was around 126 million worldwide, which is a respectable haul for a live-action plus CGI family mystery in a franchise-heavy landscape. Translation: not a superhero behemoth, but solid legs and word of mouth. And the ending actually sticks the landing. Rebecca learns her and Peter's mother was named Lily. She takes her father's surname, claims the meadow and the flock, and even buys Caleb's French-speaking sheep to keep them from slaughter. She starts reading to the flock like George did. Lily adopts the winter lamb and names him George, and Lily sees a cloud shaped like Sebastian. That cloud callback is such a sweet grief note, not denial, just remembrance. Also, soundtrack heads, Christoph Beck scores it, and the credits drop I'm Gonna Be 500 Miles, remixed by Chris Kovacs. It's bouncy and cathartic. Leave the theater smiling while quietly sniffling. So, picture this. A fluffy flock teaches a village how to remember. A color mix reveals a killer. And community actually matters more than the money. In a year of loud spectacle, this one whispers and you lean in. Love that for them. Next time, we'll dive into another animal-led mystery that's been a cultural sensation. Think Comfort Watch with claws. You are not ready. So that's the tea, folks. Major food for thought, right? Till next time, keep sleuthing.